Hello and welcome to my channel. In the past lesson, we understood about solutions in the Power Platform, what they are, and why we use them. Now we are going to understand a little bit more about Power FX, that's the language behind Power Apps. This video is part of my course that I have on Udemy. That's in a very affordable price, and if you have Udemy for Business, you can go there and watch already without paying extra. I will leave the link in the pinned comments below. Now let's get to the lesson. So in the previous lesson, we created this blank app inside a solution. Now it's time for us to understand a little bit better about screens and Power FX so we can start learning the main components inside the Canvas app. If we look here in the left, we have the screens. We can see the screen 1 here, that's the first screen that was just generated when you created the blank app. An app can have several screens. For example, I can click on new screen and then I can add a blank screen or some screens that already come with predefined layouts. Since we didn't learn the main components yet, I'm just going to add a new blank screen for us to see here in the tree view. Okay, I could rename screens. For example, screen 1, I can double click and call it home screen. And then screen 2, I can say, for example, form screen. Let's say that in the home screen, we are going to have a list of items that we are going to see and then select, and we can go to the second screen, that's the form screen, where we can create a new item or edit an existing item. We are going to do this in the next lessons. I'm just creating the screens to show you how it works. Okay. Before we keep progressing, adding controls, adding formulas, now I'm going to explain about the Power FX language. Power FX is the language that's used inside the Canvas app. Not only in Canvas app, but this language is being extended to more components in the platform, such as Power Automate Flows, Power Automate Desktop as well, that's the robotic process automation tool from the platform, and also in Dataverse, in several places such as low-code plugins or columns that use formulas. By now we are going to see it inside Canvas app, and I want you to keep in mind that can be useful in other places. So it's very important. If we look at the Microsoft PowerFX overview in the Microsoft documentation, we see that PowerFX is the low-code language that can be used across Microsoft Power Platform, as I just mentioned. It's a general-purpose language. It's expressed in human-friendly texts, and you are going to see this once we see some examples. And it's a low-code language that can work directly as in an Excel-like formula. So it's very similar to Excel. If you already know some Excel formulas, you can easily learn PowerFX. Let's take a look in the studio. I will make sure that I enable the modern controls. So I will go to the configuration, search for updates and search for modern. And then I just enabled modern controls and themes. I'm going to save just to make sure I have the modern controls here. Okay, maybe at the time when you're doing this, you're not seeing this anymore because it may come by default. Okay, now if I go to insert, I see only modern controls here, and I see the classic part where I have the other controls. We are not using those, we are using these ones here with these icons. Well, we never know if Microsoft changed the interface because they are always changing. But for example, I'm going to insert a text here that's used to display a text. As you already know, we can change some properties, some input properties of the controls. For example, this is a text control. I can increase the font size so I can see it bigger. But what I'm going to show now is about Power FX expressions. I just mentioned that's very similar to Excel. So for example, here in the text, instead of having this text written, I could use formulas. Let's say, for example, sum. Sum is a formula that we also have here inside Canvas app. I put the name, and in this case is a function, so I open a parenthesis, and I have to put a number inside as the first argument. So for example, 5. And then I put a comma as the suggestion shows in here, and I can have a second argument. That's the second number that I want to sum. So let's say 10. And I can keep putting commas and adding numbers, for example, 15, and so on. Once I close the parentheses, then the formula is going to apply and sum all the three numbers. Now we have the result inside the text. That's the sum of both numbers. And then PowerFX has a lot of formulas. We are going to see some of them during the course, not all of them. For example, I've never used several functions that are in there, but it's very good for you to know that they exist. Let's say that in the future you need some specific application, then you might remember where to look, and you might have heard about the function, so you can check in the documentation and use it. And for that, we have the PowerFX formula reference. It's also in the Microsoft documentation, and here we have a list of functions that we can use inside Canvas app. We even have mathematical functions such as arccosine, arcotangent, things that I have never used inside the Canvas app, but if you need to do some calculation that uses those functions, you can use it. I invite you to take a look at this link, look at the name of the functions. Of course, you don't need to know about all of them by head, but at least know that they exist. And as we progress through the course, you're going to learn a lot of them. Okay, going back to the app, let's see other functions. We have behavior functions that are functions that we can call, and they are going to do something in the app. For example, we have the notify function. I'm going to insert a button, and then we have the onSelect property. Here I have the button selected. I can also change the text, for example, click me, and then in the onSelect property of the button, I can put that function, that's the notify, and then I need to inform a text to it. For example, you clicked me, and close the parentheses. Once I play the app and press the button, this function is going to run and show a notification to the user. See, once I click, we see this notification. And as you can see, in the documentation, it's very declarative. We write as we would talk to someone, because notify is an English word. Some is also an English word, so once you use, it's very easy to remember. Well, if we go to notify, we can pass more parameters to the function. Those are the parameters that are going to make it behave a little bit differently. So if I put a comma, for example, now I can put the notification type. In this case, let's say it's a success notification. It's going to be green. So I select notification type .success. Then I can put another comma, and I put the timeout, that's duration of the notification. If we don't put anything, we have a default timeout. I think it's 2 or 3 seconds. I don't remember exactly. And then we can always go back here to this documentation and find the function to understand more about it. Here is notify, I click on it, and then I see more details. And then I just saw that the default, it's saying here that's 10 seconds. That's a lot of time for a message. That's why I want to go back and put a third parameter, let's say 2000 milliseconds or 2 seconds. And then if I play, I'm going to see a success notification that lasts for 2 seconds. Let's see, play and click on the button. Then it's green because it's a success notification and it already disappeared. Okay, that's the navigate function. The navigate function will navigate to the other page. I could add a second button to call this function, but what I'm going to do is calling also with the notify. Let's change the notify text to say, you clicked me, now I'll move to another page. And then after that, I want to move to another page to navigate. I'm going to put a semicolon to separate, and then I will call a second function. So if you want to call more functions in the same formula, you put semicolons to separate. The separator inside the function to separate the arguments use a comma, and then to separate more formulas, you put semicolon. It will vary depending on the language of your browser. In some languages, we have a semicolon here to separate arguments, and then 2 semicolons to separate functions. You need to pay attention to it, otherwise it will show as an error. That's why I always do in English, so it's always this pattern. Since I put the semicolon, let's call the function navigate, and we need to pass as a parameter the page or the screen that we are going to go. In this case, I'm in the form screen. That's where I inserted the button. So I'm going to call the navigate and ask it to go to the home screen. See that once I start typing home, I see already an autofill suggestion and I click on it. Then we have the screen, I can close the parentheses, and now if I play the app, it's going to notify and then navigate. It will go to the home screen. The home screen is completely empty, so I'm going to insert here just another text saying home screen, so I know that I'm in the home screen. Let's put here home screen. And then I'll increase the font, make very big, 50. And then I can go back to the form screen, play the app, and click on the button that's going to notify and navigate. Let's see, clicked, notified, and already navigated to the home screen. Once I'm in the home screen, if I want to go back, I can put a button to navigate back to the other screen, or I could put a button as well, calling another function. Let's see, I'm going to click on the button. Let's change the text to back. Let's even put an icon with the arrow left. And then here in the onSelect, I could call the back function. Just open and close parentheses. And then if I play the app, it's going to go back to the previous screen. One last thing for this lesson is that in the navigate and even in the back, we can have an extra parameter. That's the animation that we are going to see when we navigate. So let's say I put a comma, and then we already see the screen transitions. And I like to use fade. Now, if I play, and then I click here, it fades to the home screen. We can put a parameter here that's the same as in there. So I can type fade, for example, and then I see screen transition.fade. I close the parentheses, now I play, and once I click, it fades to the other screen. Just a quick reminder, in the pinned comments, we have a link to the full course if you want to follow in the correct order with no interruptions, no ads, and without me telling every time that I have a course. Check it out. If you have Udemy for Business, you already have it for free. So in this lesson, you learned about screens and a little bit of Power Effects, what it is, and some basic formulas. The sum, the navigate, the notify, and the back functions. In the next lesson, we are going to learn how to insert input controls and obtain the values that are inserted inside the controls. So we can use in formulas and use throughout the app. See you in there. Thanks for watching. If you want the full Power Apps course, check the pinned comments. Please like, subscribe, and comment. That helps me sharing more free content here on YouTube. For you, it's just a simple action, and for me, it helps a lot. See you in the next lesson. I'll leave the link here to a recommended lesson. Bye-bye.